Hello, this is Randy. Welcome to Brain Break with Randy and Keith. I wanted to visit with you today about an experience I had when I was younger. I have been a substitute teacher for the last few years, and one of the things that's been really incredible to me is that kids don't necessarily learn how to read at school. Um, there's a lot of time and effort that's necessary for someone to learn how to read. They need to read at home to their parents. They need to read on their own when they're not playing games and not looking at a video screen of one kind or another. And so I encourage all of my students to, even though I'm just there for a day sometimes, to read and to read on their own for half an hour a day, and then to read to their parents out loud for 15 minutes a day. And I think that's a good thing. Reading is becoming a lost art because we can listen to things, and yet people that don't know how to read really miss an awful lot, in my never to be humble opinion. But I'd like to tell you about my story in reading. When I was a little boy, my mother was sick. They didn't know what it was, but at first they thought it was tuberculosis and other things. And she ended up dying several years later from cancer. And she tried everything. She didn't want to leave her two boys. There was my brother and myself. And we we loved our mom, but she was sick. She spent a lot of time in bed. I remember her cooking for me and my family when I was younger. But then when we moved to Arizona, uh, I don't remember her cooking much because I think she spent most of her time in bed or in the hospital. I don't know how my dad was able to do what he did in raising a family without a mom that was able to help and assist. And my dad was not perfect, but he was a great man. And he really wanted us to have opportunities that we wouldn't have otherwise had and that he didn't have. I had been going to school and I started the third grade in Tucson, Arizona, where we moved. And my dad was a professor at the University of Arizona of accounting. And as I went to school, it became apparent to my teacher that I couldn't read, but I did a great job of faking it. And that's why I'd gotten away with it for the first couple of years of school. And so one day she called me on it. She caught me in class and then she talked to me privately and asked me if I wanted to learn how to read for real. And I said I did, but I didn't know what to do. And she said, "Well, that's okay. I'll help you." She understood that my dad was working a new job as a professor at the University of Arizona, and that my mother was sick, very sick, and that she was a school teacher, but she spent most of the time trying to recover and trying to get better, which she did occasionally, but not very much. And this teacher, Miss Koklasher, was incredible because she made sure I could read. And by the end of that year, not the school year, but the end of the year, I was reading at above my grade level. In fact, when everybody else was reading little tiny chapter books, I remember making a book, doing a good book report on the history of the Naval Academy. Not sure why I picked that book, other than my dad was in the Navy, but he didn't go to the Navy Academy, the Naval Academy. But I'm I'll be forever grateful for her in making sure that she knew how that I knew how to read, and that also she didn't embarrass me and she encouraged me, but she also didn't expect it to happen at home due to what was happening in my home. And I think as teachers, whether we're parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, older brothers and sisters, we need to make sure that the children of tomorrow, the adults of tomorrow, the children of today aren't being completely entertained by a screen, whether they're playing video games nonstop and or they just don't know how to read. Uh, when I talk to kids about what they are going to be when they grow up, you would not believe the number of them that tell me they're going to be make a living doing YouTube. What are you going to do on YouTube? I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And the same thing about Instagram or TikTok. The point is, YouTube is great, Instagram is great, TikTok's great, but we can't rely on the screens to teach us how to do things that we need to put some time in. And whether that's reading, math, science, all these things we need to learn. I am shocked by the number of parents that think that a computer program that the school provides is going to teach their child. It's not. They still need human interaction, and we need to make sure that they're learning every step of the way. And it can be fun, it can be exciting. Just ask the kids I substitute for. Their teachers, the kids really enjoy me coming in and talking to them, showing some passion and excitement for education. So anyway, that's the story of a boy that faked it for at least 2 years, maybe 2.5, before a kind teacher with a very big heart looked out for me and made sure I knew how to read. And I'll be grateful forever. Thank you, Mrs. Coatglacier. I'd like to invite you at this time to like and subscribe. I'm grateful for the people that are watching these videos. And if you have any comments, you'd like to hear some stories about something specific, let me know. And either Keith or I will tackle that. Hope you're having a great day, and thank you for listening to Brain Break with Randy and Keith.